The accounts receivable queue in a modern medical practice never actually stops growing. Even when your billing team is operating at full capacity, this chart tracks the average initial claim denial rate in U.S. healthcare, driven by a sharp rise in both commercial and Medicare Advantage rejections. The burden is heavily concentrated. Across the U.S. provider landscape, 41% of healthcare organizations now face denial rates exceeding 10%. That friction translates directly to lost capital. In 2025, total losses from final denials and uncollected bills across U.S. hospitals and physicians exceeded $48 billion. For smaller physician practices and mid-size groups, the damage is proportionally severe. Independent medical practices routinely lose approximately 30% of their potential revenue to uncollected claims, initial denials, and ineffective follow-up processes. When an organization loses nearly a third of its earned capital despite being fully staffed, the operational system of collections faces a mathematical deficit that headcount alone cannot solve. The primary metric used to diagnose this problem is days in AR, the average number of days it takes to collect on a claim. Industry data indicates a healthy operational range falls between 30 and 45 days. When days in AR climbs above 55 days, practice leadership typically relies on a single strategy. They attempt to hire an additional in-house administrative biller to work through the pile. Adding generalist headcount treats the queue as a volume problem, while a backlogged AR queue often reflects a mismatch between technical complexity and the existing staff's capacity. Major insurance payers have deployed advanced algorithms and automated logic to review, flag, and deny incoming claims at a scale that exceeds manual human processing speeds. This creates a bottleneck where a single human researcher attempts to keep pace with a machine that denies claims in milliseconds. The volume of rejections quickly outstrips the time available to appeal them. Practice owners often treat a backlogged AR queue as deferred revenue, money that is safe, just delayed. The data tells a different story. The Healthcare Financial Management Association sets a strict benchmark. Accounts receivable over 90 days should represent no more than 10% of your total AR queue. In reality, the industry median for AR greater than 90 days sits at an unsustainable 33.7%. This graph maps the nonlinear decay of collection probability. Claims do not age on a straight line. As a claim crosses the 60-day mark, the probability of full recovery plummets rapidly. The optimal window to secure payment closes, and appeal friction increases. By day 90, many claims hit strict payer timely filing limits. The payer is no longer obligated to accept an appeal, instantly converting earned capital into a permanent write-off. Because medical claims carry a hard expiration date, any delay in your follow-up cadence ensures a permanent loss of capital. Time is the ultimate enemy of the practice. To understand why claims stall out, we have to look at the work itself. Outside the billing department, AR follow-up is often viewed as simply dialing insurance companies and asking for an update. In practice, a single biller must juggle 10 to 12 distinct payer portals. Each system requires different login credentials, unique navigation structures, and completely separate appeal submission formats. Resolving one denied claim requires logging into the specific portal, decoding an explanation of benefits, accurately diagnosing a coding error, or identifying missing patient data. Drafting the appeal letter, attaching the correct supporting documentation, and submitting it through the required channels consumes 20 to 45 minutes per individual claim. Payers further complicate this by demanding highly specific modifier formats or prior authorization attachments before an appeal will even be reviewed. When front office staff lack specialized coding backgrounds, they miss these nuanced payer rules. The appeal gets submitted incorrectly, and the exact same denial comes back a second time. Relying on a small internal billing team creates extreme operational fragility. One employee taking a long vacation or handing in a resignation immediately halts the revenue flow. Replacing that billing specialist costs the practice the equivalent of 6 to 9 months of their annual salary, while the desk sits empty and the claims age. This vulnerability drives a systemic pattern known as the staffing spiral. Turnover triggers an immediate aging of the AR queue. When a new hire arrives, they spend their first 60 to 90 days learning the electronic medical record system, the specific payer mix, and the office protocols. During that ramp-up, follow-up slows to a crawl. To keep the practice afloat, the overwhelmed team members are forced to prioritize new, clean claims to maintain some cash flow, leaving the complex backlog untouched. Without dedicated attention, those old claims quietly slip past the 60-day cliff. The standard in-house staffing model is reactive. It is structurally too slow and too fragile to manage the strict, expiring life cycle of a medical claim. Top-performing organizations, those bringing their final denial rates down to 1.6%, have largely abandoned the in-house AR follow-up model altogether. Instead, they outsource the daily ARQ to dedicated external teams, heavily anchored by AAPC and AHIMA certifications. These credentials mean the specialist understands exactly how a real explanation of benefits reads. They know how to write a clean, clinically accurate appeal for a complex Medicare and Advantage denial, catching the payer-specific nuances that general staff overlook. This external team operates natively within your workflow. They connect directly into your existing EMR, whether that is Epic, Athena, or eClinicalWorks, every single day. The compliance architecture is entirely pre-managed. The vendor provides encrypted VPNs, signed business associate agreements, HIPAA training, and SOC 2 Type 2 certification from day one. Integrating a credentialed external team eliminates the internal training gap and instantly upgrades the clinical coding power file applied to your oldest, most stubborn claims. This model utilizes artificial intelligence to amplify the efficiency of the human billing specialist. The software manages the heavy lifting of queue organization so the specialist can focus on resolution. AI smart routing automatically prioritizes the daily queue. Claims are sorted instantly by urgency, payer, and aging bucket, ensuring specialists tackle the highest risk files first. A predictive system flags claims likely to hit timely filing limits, allowing intervention before capital is lost. The economics of this architecture heavily favor the practice. While an in-house biller requires $55,000 to $75,000 annually in loaded compensation, an outsourced specialist from a firm like Staffingly starts at $399 per week per seat. Implementation takes 14 days. That covers EMR mapping, protocol setup, and launching a live, risk-free pilot. The practice operates on a month-to-month basis. There are no long-term lock-in contracts, forcing the vendor to earn the engagement and maintain output quality every 30 days. Combining AI-driven prioritization with credentialed human expertise allows practices to close revenue leaks and collect the money they have already earned. This